So welcome. This morning was so lovely. It was chilly almost after this hot week that we've had. But anyway, it's wonderful to see everybody. And I think today we're going to get started on a chair like we did last week. So go ahead and grab a chair. And also, and I'm telling myself this, make sure you have, a block and a strap close by. We might be using it, we might not. So we'll get seated in our chair, and just like always, we'll take a few minutes to just tune into our breath. So go ahead and just feel your breath. Notice your breath. No, breath is so amazing. I've probably said that over hundreds of times, how amazing the breath is. Because we breathe mostly unconsciously throughout our day. But when we bring consciousness to the breath, it can really help stabilize us. It can help us feel more centered and more calm. And really more in control of what's going on within us, of our minds and our heart. So choose the way you want to experience your breath right now for the next, like I said, couple of minutes to help you tune into yourself. And it could be that you just want to count the number of breaths. You want to count 10 breaths over and over again. Or you want to make sure that your exhale is a little longer than your inhale. You just want to feel the air enter through your nostrils, down the back of your throat, and feel it exhale through your nostrils. As you do that, you may detect that you breathe in cool air and breathe out warmer air. Let's focus on that beautiful, amazing breath. And now, like we usually do, we usually are lying down, and I encourage all of us to tune into ourselves and move in any way that feels right. And we can, of course, do that as we're sitting. So maybe gently, if you're open your eyes, if the eyes are closed, and just come back and move in any way that feels right for you. You know, it could be just rocking from side to side, doing a little twist. You know, I hope there's somebody doing some tree trimming in my neighborhood close by, and I'm wondering if that is bothering anybody. Okay, thank you. Okay. I guess I could close my windows. The air is still cool. Okay, so then let's go ahead and we can all start working together and just rocking back and forth on our chair. And you know, there are two ways to rock back. You can rock your whole side over like this, or you can do a little rocking and extension. So that would be that if you rock, if you lift up your, if you rock towards the left, your head will tilt towards the right. Sometimes can be hard to coordinate, but you know what makes it possibly a little easier? Say when you rock to the left, you let your right sitting bone come down. So you feel a little extension through that side body. So rock. Let's do this slowly so we all can get this. So we'll rock to the right and press our left sitting bone down. And the right sitting bone might lift up a little bit. I'm doing a mirror image. So let's rock back and over to the other side. So the right sitting bone presses down, and maybe you can feel that through your lower side body there as your head tilts to the left. And just go back and forth, slow and easy. Slow and easy does it. And then lift up. So when we're rocking to the, when the sitting bone side, but that when we press our sitting bone down, lift that arm. So if you press your right sitting bone down, lift your right arm. See if you can do it with ease. And tilt your head the opposite way. And then we'll just slow it down and come on back to a neutral position. And then we'll do some of the wonderful things that we can do easily in a chair, and that and pelvic floor, which is such a great thing for us to do for ourselves. So let's go ahead and really concentrating on the pelvic floor. Take an inhale and exhale through pursed lips, lift up on the pelvic floor. And inhale down and exhale through pursed lips. And down and inhale, relax, exhale. This will be number 3. And inhale down, relax. 4, lift up. And then 5. I just think these are really helpful. So we don't have any, we don't, it's good to have a strong pelvic floor. Okay, so come over to one side or just really concentrate on lifting one side of your tush, of your seat. So what I'm doing is I come over to the side of my chair and one side of my tush, one kind of comes down, and then exhale, lift up. Try not to use my foot too much. And inhale down, exhale up, inhale down, and you try not to lean over either. Inhale up, exhale up, sorry. And again, exhale on up, and exhale on up. Okay, we'll scoot on over to the other side. And same thing. So exhale, lift up 5 times. Exhale, lift up. 2. Exhale, lift up. 3. And exhale, lift up. And exhale, lift up. And this is I think it's even effective if we do it maybe 2 or 3 times a week only, but you can do it, the more you can do it, the better. Okay, so now we're going to do, we'll work on our core muscles, which of course is the pelvic floor. I'm going to bring my chair over to the side because we want to sit a little bit away from the back of the chair we don't want the support of the back of the chair. And The further you come forward in the chair, the more you will engage your core muscles. If you sit back here, it's going to be really easy to lift your leg because you know, there's so much, the chair comes under most of your thigh. So if you sit forward a little bit, you know, and of course, you know your ability, so just do what's right for you. But you can either keep your knee bent or extend your leg out in front of you. And keeping your back as straight as you can, engage the core muscles, the belly, the tush, and the pelvic floor. Exhale, lift up the leg. Inhale, bring it down. Exhale, lift it up and down. You can touch the floor or not, depending on what's right for you. We'll do it 5 times. Exhale up. I think I'm actually not sure if that's 4 or 5. Exhale up. When I'm talking, I sometimes lose count. Okay, so the other leg. So take an inhale, relax, and exhale, lift on up. Exhale, lift. Exhale, lift. For me, 3, 4, 5. For me, I have to consciously engage my pelvic floor. It doesn't happen automatically because I guess you know, the abs are strong enough that they can lift the leg all by itself. But you know, it's helpful to engage that pelvic floor. Okay, and the other wonderful thing to do, well, there's several wonderful things to do in the chair. And one of them is this lovely twist. So just settle in. And so we're going to pull back on our left hip, right hip, sorry. And then turn our rib cage to the right, turn our shoulders to the right. And then you can grab hold of your thigh with your opposite hand. You can bring your right arm behind you. And a lovely way to go into this a little deeper is to inhale, lift up through your spine, and exhale, maybe twist a little bit more. Look over your shoulder if that feels right for your neck. And just take a couple of breaths here. Inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, twisting a little bit more. And then, keeping your body in the same position, turn your head to the opposite shoulder. Whatever we do with our neck, make sure your neck feels comfortable. You know, you might want to move your head back and forth a little bit before you come looking over your other shoulder. Make sure your shoulders feel relaxed. Nice. And then we'll come all the way back to center and pause for a moment. You might feel that big difference in your body. And then pull back on your left hip. Turn your rib cage to the left and your shoulders to the left. Bring your arms around your body in a comfortable position for you. And then maybe look over your left shoulder, making sure your neck feels comfortable. And then keeping your body in the same position, turn your head to shoulder. And even if it feels like you need to, you can move your head back and forth. Nice, and then come on back to center. Hey. Okay, and let's come standing up, and we can do a nice stretch here. So walk your feet back so that your hips and heels are aligned, and that your body is pretty straight. So your upper body is pretty straight there. Parallel to the ground, your upper body is parallel to the ground. And once you position yourself and your hips are over your heels, maybe you can actually pull your hips back a tiny little bit more, and you'll feel that in the back of your legs. And then maybe tilt your tailbone up to the sky. Just take a couple of breaths here, even relaxing into it. And then we'll come on forward and we can do our lovely chair pigeon pose. So grab hold of a blanket or a pillow or whatever you need. You know, I think we've done this enough that you can build this up. You can build up from your seat, or you can maybe bring your leg onto the back of the chair. Doing whatever feels right for you. So let's bring our right leg, stand on our left leg and bring our right leg up the back of the chair or build up from the seat of the chair so that we feel for our body a nice little stretch in the hip there, perhaps. And first thing we're going to do is turn over that front leg, over to the right. Doing a little twist. And then back to center and on over to the left. So you can grab hold of your foot perhaps. Maybe even bring your left arm behind your back. Look over your left shoulder. And as you come back, really feel that you're rotating around the central axis of your body, the amazing spine. And then let's roll out our shoulders a little bit. And inhale, lifting up from our heart and maybe even guiding our pelvis to guide our backs, to move our backs forward. Come over the leg and come down. Make sure your standing leg is not locked. That the leg is straight, but like I said, the knee is not locked. Put your chin into your chest, perhaps. And just find a comfortable position for your arms and hands. And even from this low position, let's move over, just gently turn towards our right knee. And come back to center and gently turn over to the left. Towards the left to the right foot. And back to center. And roll on up. And from here, let's lift up to the sky. Look up to the sky. But feeling, my knee wants to lock a little bit when I do that. So I'm going to try my best not to lock my knee. And then just feel that you're lifting from the sternum, lifting upward. And feel that your shoulder blades are coming down. As you're lifting your chest up, your shoulder blades are coming down. Make sure your neck feels comfortable, that you're not over hyperextending here, that you're not dropping your head back. Nice. And then come on forward and come down. Maybe shake out the standing leg. And then we'll come on over to the other side. Well, I don't think I need to do that necessarily. Okay, so we'll bring our left leg up onto the back of our chair. And actually, I think this is a nice way to settle into this, is to just do a twist over the left knee, twist, feeling that you're really turning around that central axis, that amazing, beautiful spine that we all have. Make sure your standing leg is comfortable. And then come on back to center and on over to the right. Just over to the right. And you can bring your right arm behind you if you'd like. Very nice. And then come on back to center and inhale, lift on up and exhale. come over that front leg, making sure that the pelvis is moving, it is turning as much as it can before you round your back and tuck your chin into your chest. You can take your left hand if you would like and press it gently onto your left thigh. Flex the left foot. And then let's turn over towards the left from this low position. Try not to let the right hip slide towards the right. Try to keep the right hip over the right foot. And then come on back to center and go on over to the other side. And to the right, and then come on back and lift on up and look up to the sky. Feeling that the sternum is lifting you up, that it's really lifting the head up and keeping the shoulders relaxed. And make sure your neck feels comfortable, the back of your neck, that you're not dropping your head back. Lifting it up and extending it upwards. And breathing, shoulders relaxed, and then come on back. And let that leg come down. Shake out both legs a little bit here. Very nice. Shake it on out. And then let's come on. I'm going to put my chair aside. You know, if anybody wants to continue, some of these things we could do for a chair, with a chair. But you know me, I love my sun salutations. So let's just do a couple of sun salutations, modified accordingly to our needs. Okay, so we'll come on forward. Actually, before we do the sun salutation, I'd like to do a little sway. So, just have I'm going to do it a little bit differently than we usually do. So let's just have our arms at our sides and really tune into our hips and our waist and move from the hips and the waist. Feel that the hips and the waist are what are moving your body. And you might notice that your arms kind of naturally move. It's the hips and the waist that are really moving the arms. And if you go slowly, you can feel hopefully the cool air on your arms. And this can be a very cooling movement. And then from here, continue to move from the hips and the waist. And then from here, we'll change this. And this is called water waves when our arms don't bend. But then we can start bending our arms and gently knocking at the door of life. Tapping all the meridian points and acupressure points. And then we'll slow it down. Yay. I could do this. I could do water waves for 5 minutes so easily, and it's supposed to be so good for our backs. So quite a wonderful thing. Okay, so we'll come up to the front of our mat, bring our hands into prayer pose, and inhale out and up. And I think our bodies are pretty warm by now. And then exhale, let's come with the swan dive. And if you can't come all the way down, you can just come into our flat back position. But otherwise, come all the way down and inhale into the flat back position. And then either from that flat back position or coming down into a forward fold, frame your feet with your hands and bend your knees and step back with your right foot, bend into your right knee, and let's just lift on up into a crescent pose. We into this a little bit differently than we usually do. And then come on down. And from here, step back into plank pose. come halfway down and up, and halfway down and up, and halfway down. And then come into downward dog. Or just comes all the way up. We'll up to a standing position. But from down dog, let's look on up in our hands and walk, or maybe jump up to our hands. And inhale halfway, exhale deepen, and then come all the way up. Remembering you can bend your knees or keep your legs straight depending on the length of your hamstring. Hands in the prayer pose. Inhale out and up. Exhale, lead with the heart. And just like before, you can stay in that flat back position, or you can do go a little bit deeper. Then flat back, and then bend your knees, bring your hands by your feet, step straight back with your left foot, keep the left heel lifted as we lift on up into crescent pose. And breathe. So sink into your front leg a little bit and press your left heel downwards towards the earth. And then bring your hands down by your front foot and step back into plank pose. And this time, either through knee plank or full plank, we'll come all the way down, chin, chest, touch the ground. Hands down by your rib cage, below your shoulders, and lift on up into a gentle cobra. Press your toenails into the earth. And then come down, either curl the toes under or bend your knees, and lift up through plank into downward dog. And look on up at your hands and step, walk, or jump up to your hands. And inhale halfway. Exhale deep. Bending the knees or keeping the legs straight. Roll all the way up. Hands over the head. Yeah, into prayer. Okie dokie. So now, let's bring our legs wide apart, and we're actually going to do a little bit of a different kind of triangle pose. And so what we'll do here, like I said, have our legs apart. I'll try to do the mirror image. Have your right foot turned in, your left foot straight ahead. So this time, and bring your hip, your right hip forward, so that you can place your hand, your left hand, on a block or on the floor. And then you're going to pull your right hip back a little bit and bring, your left hip back, and bring your right arm over your head and stretch it forward. So what this does, and pull back on the right hip. So feel that stretch through your side, through that side of your body. And breathe. So feel that breath nurture your body. And then from here, bring your hands down on either side of the foot and pull your left hip back and your right hip forward. And then you can bring your block on the inside of your front foot and maybe bring your right hand there and turn towards the left, coming into a revolve triangle. Maybe you need the block, maybe you don't. And then come all the way down. And let's just come down over that front leg, bringing our belly towards our thigh, bringing our bodies as close to the leg as possible. And then from here, we'll lift on up and place our hand on our shin or our thigh and turn our right shoulder on up. and come into our regular old triangle. So it's changing things around a little bit. Now press into that front foot and feel where most of the weight is. For me, it's on the inner edge a little bit more than it is on the outer edge. And so I just like to really tune into this as I turn my lower palm up and come all the way up and over. I can feel the weight shift in my front foot to the outer part of my front foot. Very nice. And then come on back, turn both feet in. And let's just, before we go on over to the other side, let's do a wide angle forward fold, really easily, letting our hands slide down the leg. And again, if you need to, you can just keep your body parallel to the ground, or you can come a little bit deeper and release your head, release the crown of your head right down towards the earth. And then lift your body up if it's down, and bring your left hand right underneath your head. And you have the block there if you'd like to, or you can walk your feet a little more wide apart so that you can bring your hand down. And then do a little twist, lifting up the right arm, looking towards the right. And then come on down. And the other side. So have your right hand down and lift up your left arm. Now, chances are we moved our hips when we did this. I think this is kind of fun. So let's do this again and keep our hips still. We won't move our hips, just move your upper back. So bring your left hand underneath and lift up your right arm without moving your hips, and see if you feel that you're getting into your upper back a little bit more. Mid back, upper back. And come on down, and the same thing on the other side. So don't move your hips, and lift up your left arm. And come on down. And now to come up, let's just inhale halfway up and bring our hands on the small of our back and exhale. And then inhale all the way up, pressing into the small of our back. Nice. Okay. So if you need your block, bring it on over to the right side, turn the left foot in, the right foot forward. And we're going to bring the left hip forward a little bit so that we can place our right hand on the mat or on the block in front of our foot, trying to keep that front leg straight. So lift up your back arm, your left arm, and bring it over so that you're stretching out from your foot, from the bottom of your foot to the tips of your fingers. You're putting length in that whole left side of your body. And breathing. Trying to keep that front leg straight. A little bit of a variation of triangle. Nice. Okay. And so then bring both hands down by the right foot and bring your block on the inside of the foot. And if you know you need it, and then start turning towards the right and lift up your right arm if it's available. You can keep your arm on your hip. Your hand on your hip. Breathe. Really allow the breath to maybe bring some calmness, some serenity into the pose. Nice. And then look down over your front foot, your front leg, and bring your belly towards the thigh. Going into a nice forward bend here. Or a half forward bend. Your head lifted, whatever feels best for you. And then we'll bring our right hand on our right shin or thigh and start turning upwards, bringing our left shoulder on top of our right and coming into our more traditional Trikonasana. And breathe. Now, just like we did before, I love doing this. So feel where most of the weight is. Press your front foot naturally into the ground and see if the weight shifts as you lift up the front hand, turning the palm up to the sky and bringing the other hand down your back leg. You know, maybe the weight shifts for you, maybe it doesn't. Feel that beautiful breath. And then come on forward. Hands on the hips. And heel toe your feet in. And let's just do a really nice, beautiful length of side body here. So go ahead and lift up your left arm, lift up your right arm. Let your head rest on the right arm there. Grab hold of your left wrist and pull it on over to the right, pressing that left foot into the ground. Breathing. And again, knees are not locked. Straight but not locked. Breathing. I love having my head rest on my arm. It feels so comforting. And then come on up. And if you need to let your arms come down, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, we'll just go right on over. So let your head rest on your left arm. Grab hold of your right wrist and pull over to the left. You feel your hip push out a little bit, right hip push out. Press into your right foot. And smile, a little smile on your face. And then come on forward. And down. So oh my gosh, I need to roll out my shoulders. So let's roll out our shoulders. Just roll them out a couple times one way and then the other way. And then forward and into a little twist. Forward and over, forward and over, and back. A little twist. And around and around. Okay, so we'll work with balance a little bit, and I like to come off my mat. I find balance is easier when I don't have too much padding underneath my feet. So let's go ahead and and you know what? It doesn't matter what foot you put in front of the other. Put one foot in front of the other. So we'll start off with a balancing pose that might be a little bit easier. Then open up your arms nice and wide. If you're too wobbly with your heel touching your toe, your toes, you can step forward a little bit, make a little bit more length between the feet, just so, because this is like a balancing pose. So open up your arms nice and wide, and then turn towards one side, and it doesn't matter which side because we're going to go both sides. And keep your arms nice and open. Try to relax your shoulders down and your head down and your facial muscles. And then come on back to center and on over to the other side. So turn over to the other side. Easy does it. Make sure that you try to, as much as possible, keep that 180-degree line between your fingertips of each hand. And then come on back to center and let your arms rest down. And then we'll do it on the other side. So put the other foot forward. Getting the heel as close to the toes as possible, like we're on a tightrope. Open up again. And this time we can turn the opposite way first. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And then come on back to center. And on over to the other side. Nice. And down. Okay, so let's also do tree pose. Beautiful tree pose. And remembering that if we lift up through our solar plexus and through our pelvic floor just a little bit, that can really help any balancing pose. So we'll start by bending our right leg, opening up the knee out to the side, and with just the toe on the knee, just the toe on the floor, that requires some balance. And then, but maybe you can lift the heel up to the calf muscle, and maybe even come up a little further. The rule of thumb is that if you're below your knee, you don't press into your leg. But if you're above your knee, you can press into your thigh. Don't press into your knee though. Hands into prayer. Maybe you can grow the branches of a tree. And just breathe here. And then come on down. And prayer pose again. And shake it out. Actually, now before we go over to the other side, I find this to be a really nice way to maybe develop our balance muscle. And that is to start with our feet a little bit wide apart and just kind of flow over to one side, maybe lift up the other leg, just as high as it feels comfortable, and then come on down. And on over to the other side and just gently lift up the foot, the leg. Come on down, and each time bring your feet a little closer together. So this is something that we can all do throughout our day, just to encourage balancing. And remembering to lift up through the core of our body, through the pelvic floor and through the solar plexus. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put all of the weight in the right foot and come onto our toe of our left foot, open up the leg. Maybe you can hook the heel on the calf muscle, or maybe you can bring it up a little higher. Just don't press into the knee. If you're above your knee, you can press your foot into the thigh. Or sometimes my other foot, I can only come up, I can bring my just my heel above my knee. But with this foot, I can bring the whole foot above my knee. So grow the branches, if available, you don't have to. And then slowly come on out. And shake it on out. Maybe just walk back and forth a little bit and lift up one leg. Actually, let's do that. Lift up one leg and just rotate around our foot around our ankle. One way and then the other. Control, put that foot down, and then lift up the other. And rotate the foot around the ankle. One way. And then the other. One thing, I think I mentioned this last week, but I'm going to just briefly go back to the chair. And what I want to encourage all of us as we add another year to our life, another day to our life, to when we come down onto our chairs, I think I might have mentioned this last week, but as much as possible, not to use our arms. And this helps us develop our core muscles. So you can come down, sitting down like that, not using our arms and hands for, and then in the same thing when we come up, to come up that way. So we do that with the chair, and we're going to put the chair aside, and as much as so we're going to come down onto our mats. Now, and come down. We probably all, I know I need to use my arms when I'm coming down onto our mat, onto my mat. But to try and use just your legs as long as you possibly can, or getting as close to the floor as you possibly can, and then maybe just using one arm. And then coming up is actually more important. And so coming up, we want to, if we can, as much as possible, not use our arms and hands. Maybe we can just come up to our knees first, and then like that. And it's a work in progress. For me, I can only do it on one side. I can't come up on my left leg, isn't my left nail because of my left knee. It's just not quite as strong as my right. So I definitely need my hand if I come up to this side. But so these are some, it's really wonderful that we can all come onto the floor and get up from the floor, because a lot of elderly people are afraid to fall because they can't get themselves up. So just alone that we're coming down onto our mats and lying down and getting up and down from these positions is a great thing that we're doing for ourselves. So let's come on down. If you're not already down, I can't see anybody, so you all are probably all down. Come down slow and easy and lie down. And let's just bring our knees on into our chest and roll them around and around and around in one direction, and then in the other, around and around. Nice. Pull them in. Open up your arms nice and wide and just go back and forth. Doing some of our beautiful windshield wipers. And then when you come over to the right next time, just allow your legs to stay there for a little bit. Going into a nice twist. And feeling the beautiful breath again. And then coming on back to center and going on over to the other side. All the way to the left with both of those legs. Making sure you get your contact with the floor to just give you a little bit more of a sense of ease. And whenever you are ready, come all the way back to center and set yourself up for Shavasana. Just sinking down into the mat. Sinking down into the earth, feeling the support of our beautiful, beautiful earth. Inhale. And let the exhale be a little bit longer than the inhale. Help initiate the relaxation. maybe on the next inhale, start at the bottom of your feet. Inhale all the way up your back, top of your head. And exhale from the top of your head, on the front of your body, all the way to your feet. A couple of breaths like that. Aware of the breath, of the body, of letting go. Knowing that each cell is like its own living organism. Each cell of our body is healthy. It maintains the health and well-being of all the cells around it, all connected with each other, all of our cells, just like all of the cells of our body are connected and intertwined. So are we too with each other, all beings of the earth. Every breath we take, 7.5 billion people are taking the same breath. Every exhale we're giving to the trees. Now come all back to yourself. Feel that beautiful breath just nurture you. Nurture all. Knowing that this calm and this peace is always there underneath everything. So gently, knowing this, start moving your hands and fingers and toes, maintaining this feeling of relaxation. Start as you move your hands and feet and fingers and toes, and bring your one knee at a time to your chest. Those knees into your chest and roll on over to one side. Press your upper hand into the mat, the earth, and spiral yourself on up to a comfortable position. If you want, or stay exactly where you are, stay in your Shavasana. I will end the class. So I just appreciate you all so very much. And I love you. And namaste. The highest and best in me greets the highest and best.
lots and lots of love.